We each contain multitudes, not just the parts we're proud of, the healer, the teacher, the mystic, but the gambler, the trickster, the tyrant. Every archetype that has ever moved through human experience lives somewhere in you, in me, in all of us. And the shadow isn't the enemy. The light isn't the destination. The middle path, where you can hold the full range with compassionate awareness, that's where we actually get to know ourselves. I'm Kelly, a mystic, a scribe, and many other archetypes besides. And the devotion of my life is looking into this divine mirror of archetypes with full honesty and reflecting that compassion outward. Each video in this series takes one archetype from the Oracle by Carolyn Myss and opens it along 3 threads: the shadow or the low road we've walked, the light, the high road we're seeking or reaching for, and the middle path, the one that can hold both and carry us forward while we carry it along the path of self-mastery. This is the fullness of what it means to be human. This is the archetypal attunement. Hello and welcome to this archetypal attunement. Today's card is the victim archetype. I'm going to be a little gentle here as I'm digging into this because this is a deep one and it touches all of us, and there's so much to be said and so much to be held and also so much to be illuminated, because there is a high road, there is the light attribute. So starting there, the light attribute prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others, and the shadow attribute playing the victim for positive feedback in the form of pity, inability to maintain personal boundaries. Now, we're going to cover a lot of stuff in here, from victim shaming and blaming, and from like this exact shadow attribute, because this has been a highlight archetype in my life. And I really embrace the light attribute of this at this point. And also it comes with a constant teeter-tottering of the back and forth. So I'm going to shuffle from the True Black Tarot Wants to Be Used Today. We'll see what comes out here, and I love these cards because it's like dark black background, but a lot of shiny, beautiful, and the wound is where the light gets in. The crack is where the light gets in. This is where the love gets in. If you're not familiar with like the Japanese art of kintsugi, where they repair the cracks with gold, there's so many different things, that archetypes and mythologies that all run this same thread of that which is broken is the most beautiful, and also without, making it glorified to be wounded. Similar to how in the artist video, the low road was like needing the pain to have like great material. The low road of the victim is like needing that identity. But here's the middle path, the world card. Look at that shiny, beautiful. Why did I keep saying held? Okay, because held is the answer here. Middle path. The world. Everything begins, everything ends. The wound is where the light gets in. When we are born into this world, we are created in separation. And what I mean by that is our first act of being human is to be separated from our mother. That's the first experience we have in the world, is that of separation. And then we spend our whole lives in search for union. Look at that sphere. It's whole. It's all of it. The laurel wreath on the crown of the head, a circle that doesn't necessarily meet its end, because in the physical world, birth and death don't actually meet each other. Not that we see, not that we experience from this outside human perspective. And I love how in this card, she's blooming like out of this plant here on the ground, and then there's fish all around. Oh my gosh. Because it's like the primordial waters and the earth, the salt of the earth, the growth of the earth, and then the butterflies up above. So this is really bringing in like all of the elements. The gold is the sun, that sphere is the sun, all of this is the growth. It's all of the elements brought together, and that, I guess, is the point. Where do I even want to begin this? Because I don't want to go super personal anecdote. I've made a lot of videos about my own specific victimhood, circumstances, and all of that sort of stuff before. Can I get another? Give me another middle road card. Please. Give me a clarifier. Because to me, I feel like I can't explain more on this because it's already makes so much sense. I feel like I already said it, and maybe that's the point. Maybe I'm just being shown to be more succinct. Look at that gold around her in this card, too. It is that gold of this. So it's like, this is what I want to say while I'm shuffling. I had a quantum healing hypnosis QHHT thing with this amazing guy, Lori Polina. If you're local to the Buffalo, New York area, I would strongly suggest you search him out because he was a fantastic human being, and we talked so much. This was years ago, and he totally expanded my worldview. And one of the things that he talked to me about was this concept or this belief that, again, we choose all of our circumstances of this life. We choose as a soul what we're born into. And a lot of that is our victimhood, our circumstance, the stuff we have to suffer, the wounds that we have to receive in order to individuate, to have this very specific, unique to us experience. And that sounds like it comes from some cruel, awful God, like who would ever choose this? And are you victim blaming me and you're victim shaming me and no one would ever choose this? Well, no human would ever choose it. That's the point. You come here to be the human that your soul chose to be because your soul chose to experience something. And this is where people get confused sometimes. Your soul chose to learn something or your soul chose to heal some karma that you owe some debt. No. There's none of that judgment involved. If you think there is, that's fine, but you won't find that here on this channel because it's not about fixing what we did wrong. It's not about that. I do believe in accountability, but on a soul level, that's not what's happening. Human accountability is different. Soul level, we chose to come here and experience a very specific, certain experience, and our wound is part of what makes that experience. Oh my gosh, do you see this white rabbit wound? Wow, and the Two of Wands reversed. This is about curiosity and the bastardization and the condemnation and the wounding that happens from curiosity. What is this card? This is the 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, Roman numerals always confuse me still, and I knew it was 9, but I had to count to make sure. This is insane. This central sword just splaying open this rabbit, and it's like confetti blood. Curiosity is divine, and it hurts. It wounds us. Oh, this is so... All right, so this has to all happen. I'm going to just ramble it out. I was talking to my husband about my children and how wild it is to have kids and think that you know what's best for them, but also know, because I know myself, that I don't know them like they know themselves, and I don't actually know what's best for them. I can read their astrology charts, I can be aware of their transits, I can know them as humans, but I'll never be them. I can never choose what they want, because I don't know what they want, I'm not them. But by default, as being a parent, I'm going to be making choices for them that might actually wound them. Might actually make them a victim of the things that I chose for them. And I'm doing the best I can. I can't help that. This is what I mean about the innocence of the wound, though, even. Like, on a soul level, we chose these wounds. My children chose to come here to a mystic mother who has, the thread of being aware, of being painfully aware that no matter what I do, I can't prevent them from being wounded. Because when you come here and be a human, you're living in duality world, where you learn by the opposite, where the thing that hurts you teaches you, where the thing that guides you abandons you. You know, that is the game. It's how we see ourselves. And do you see it mirrored in this Two of Wands? Where this is the inner world, this is the micro, and this is the macro. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense to you, but I hope it does, because it makes all the sense in the world to me, and I don't know where to over-explain what I didn't. This is the third video now where I'm explaining that I'm sharing more than I generally do, and in a way that I don't always, because I'm being forced to expand. I lived in my victim story for my whole entire life, and then I realized that that was just the setup. It was just the prologue to the superhero. It was an origin story. The victim story is the origin story. Look at this. This is the minor. This is the major. This is the world that you knew as the victim. This is the world that you know as the hero. And it doesn't just happen. It happens from the painful recognition and realization that it was the wound that created your curiosity to explore and find and reclaim the many pieces of yourself that got scattered to the winds and were too afraid to come out and be loud, or thought that they were bad, or felt ashamed, or all of the things that being a victim, that actually experiencing being victimized does to us. It breaks us down and it makes us want to close up. But divine, the life, the world, the lover, the God, the all, wants us to expand. Do you see these rays coming out? The all wants us to expand, to get bigger. And what I actually said to my husband was, it's crazy. It's like, I love my kids so much. I want to like hug them so tight that they like explode into thousands of pieces so that they can spread out across the whole entire world to experience it all. But the craziest part about that is they probably don't want to be hugged so tight that they explode, because that sounds like a horrifying experience to live through. And B, maybe they don't want to be spread across the world. Maybe they want to stay right here with me. Maybe I'm just forcing my pipe dream of experiencing all of the things onto them, and thereby killing this innocent, sweet little rabbit that just wants to hop around and eat grass. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that sound crazy? I don't care. It doesn't matter. This is the way the madness manifests into me, because I was victimized by a world that said, like, you can only be this, and you can only be this big, and you have to be this small. And the whole time, everything inside my body was screaming, no, 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 that's wrong. And then I finally let myself be pierced by this sword of curiosity and fucking explode. And I'm not a victim anymore. So wow, what's the low road? Sorry if this isn't the video you were expecting, folks, but I don't care. It's my channel. It's my channel, and this is the way that it comes through me. So give me the low road, and help me not ramble it. Help me be concise. Help me be clear, because I don't care and I do care at the same time. Because it is for me, but it's not. Because this is, oh, that's way too many cards. That's not going to help me be concise. Low road of the victim. And I mean, maybe we don't even need to go there, but we do, because it's like that feedback, pity of the boundaries and all the stuff. So here's low road. Page of Cups. I don't know how to tend my own emotional field. That's what the Page of Cups is. I don't know how to tend my own emotional field. I would rather caretake and give to every other little small, harmless creature that needs my help, that needs my love, my care, and my pity, than actually take care of my vulnerable self who hasn't yet blossomed yet. Like, I'm still forming in the clamshell. I don't know how to protect myself yet. On the low road, you know? That's not the necessary meaning of the Page of Cups, but as the low road of the victim, it certainly is. Vulnerable innocence that gets taken advantage of because of naivety. And naivety is like the unfortunate byproduct of divine curiosity. We don't know what we don't know, and that leaves us open and vulnerable. Why can't I get this to focus? To all sorts of harms, to all sorts of untold harms. But then she's got this ribbon of hope, because the hope is that no one does take advantage, but someone very well could. And that's the low road. It's the, there has to be this innocence so that innocence can explore. And sometimes in that exploration, innocence gets taken advantage of. This is Little Red Riding Hood, the big bad wolf. And that sucks for the way for wolves, because wolves aren't bad creatures. We all have a wolf inside of us, and that's part of our curious nature. And this brings me back to the original wound. The wolf isn't bad, even in the Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf is curious too. It's curious about its power. And, nobody's checking that until the huntsman comes and cuts him open. And this is all, it all loops back to, like, this is a divine play. All the world's a stage, and all the characters, all the people merely actors. We're all characters. We're all archetypes. We all have our own victim stories. It's whether or not we choose to stay in the unknowing, unwitting is the best word, innocence of the victim, or we learn to transcend that. Now, let me make it very clear. It was never your fault. It was never anyone's fault for just being young and not knowing and naive and unaware. That doesn't mean they deserved or they asked, and deserve is not a word that belongs near victimhood, okay? Deserving and victim things don't go together. They're incongruent. But, again, the victimhood story is the opening for the superhero story. And so while it sucks, and that's like the least vulgar term that I can use, while it absolutely sucks and feels completely freaking unfair and every other thing, I want to hold that with compassion, but also that's just the origin story. That's just the first chapter. That's just the one thing that happened. It's just the catalyst. And it doesn't feel like that when it happened. It doesn't feel like that while we're enduring it. It doesn't feel like it every time our mind and our body and our trauma and our PTSD and our nervous system are reminded of the victim chapter. It doesn't just go away, and I'm not trying to make light of that by saying, but eventually you become a superhero and just spiritually bypass the whole pain of all of that. The pain is real, and it just is absolutely garbage that we can't live in a world where the innocence can't be taken advantage of. But also at the same time, it's that very catalyst, antagonist thing that creates the storylines that we live out. The victim story is part of the larger story of humanity. So what's the high road? What's the high road of the victim? And in the light attribute again on the card, it says prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. Because when you're aware, when you've been victimized yourself, you know how disempowering that is. And if you're connected to love, if you're connected to integrity and truth within you, you would never want to do that to someone else. You would never even think to. That's amazing. I'm going to flip these because we can see them. High Priestess. I walk the both roads. I know what it's like to be victimized, and I also know what it's like to hold power. I know what it's like to not hold myself and to hold myself. I know what it's like to be locked up and to hold the keys. I know what it's like to sit here and endure and also to transcend. I know what it's like in every phase of the moon because I've illuminated myself. I've gone through the initiations of wounding and I've found enlightenment. This is the High Priestess. That's the high road. And what is this? The Ace of... No, what is it? 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands reversed. And it doesn't happen quickly, the high road. This is a lifelong learning. If you come here embodying strongly, I love this river. It's a river and it's a geography because your body draws the map while your spirit draws the map. The spirit draws the map through the body. And I'm speaking to the nervous system right now. The spirit drew a map through your body, and it's in tracing the map with reverence for the wisdom that it gained while it was enduring the pain that unlocks you, that shows you how to choose where you want to go, how to make the decision to not be naive and to still be curious and knowing. It doesn't happen quickly, but you write the story, so you get to choose how quickly it happens. And it depends on, are you reviewing what was written or are you just replaying the story? And again, no blame. It's really easy to keep reliving the story that lives in your body when your nervous system tells you to keep being afraid or keep being small or keep living in fear or whatever the wound created in you. But if you review that story, this is Mercury retrograde. If you look at the contracts that you've been signing all throughout your life when you agreed, yes, I'm the victim, instead of when you saw yourself be the victim and you challenge yourself to say, there's more to it than that. Right now I'm the victim, but this is the wound where the light enters. So let me get the light bigger. Make the light bigger, enlighten me, illuminate me from inside of this wound out. And it creates the high priestess. It creates someone that cannot be victimized because this figure knows all of the truths. It knows the truth about itself. It knows the truth about the world, plural, all of them. It knows all of the truths, and there is no hiding from this. So there is no victimization because there is no power outside of it. The whole full thing here, I feel, is to know yourself. What made you a victim in the first place? The desire to experience the superhero story. The desire to become this. Because you can't be this if you don't know darkness, if you don't know pain. You can't have... there's the difference between sympathy and empathy. The high priestess is empathetic, not sympathetic. She doesn't feel bad for, she doesn't pity. We don't pity victims here. We identify, we resonate, and we sit on the same field in a different body posture. I'm open to the pain because I know that it's the key to my alchemy. That doesn't mean I set myself up to continuously be victimized. It means I learned from that victim chapter, and I take from that, and I move forward. I feel like I'm going to start spinning my wheels, repeating myself here, so I'm going to wrap it up and leave it at that. I hope that this held you tenderly, if that's what it needed. And as I just said that out of my voice, I'm like brutally saying, I hope this held you tenderly. But maybe that's just me showing up in the there's no masculine container here. There's no masculine archetype. This is all feminine presenting beings holding the victim. And so some part of my body wants to hold the masculine container that says I honor the journey that you have. I honor the wound. And not even for what it becomes. Because if you never get there, that's okay too. If you only ever got to live in your victim story, there's honor in that too. And I hope you don't ever believe otherwise. Because we're all woven together. And we can all feel the pain, even if we've learned to numb ourselves to it. And also, the more of us that learn to hold the pain while transcending it, the better. I love you. And I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit that like button, hit subscribe, because I'm one by one making my way through all of the archetypes in this 80 card deck by Carolyn Miss. And I hope to see you in the next video.